It's Wishful Wednesday. I just want to make this video. I just came back all suited up from a funeral from a family friend, one of my mother's first friends, who basically helped the family settle in when we family first moved to Australia. And I just want to talk to you very, very honestly about the experiences I had. For me, this is a very dear family friend. She was part of my childhood when I was growing up. She's lived in Europe, Asia, Africa, States, and she lived a very full life until 80 years old. And the biggest thing I got from the wedding was what a pioneer she was. Like, I grew up in the 90s in the North Shore in a very white Australian neighborhood, and she was really my mum's first white friend or Caucasian friend. And I remember being Taiwanese, like I used to come home from school and you hear this British lady in her 60s going, ni hao, ni hao. And for me at the time, I didn't know what it was like to be an outsider. But she made us feel that we weren't outsiders. And she sort of really, I guess for me, was like my surrogate Australian, even though she was British, mother for my 9th birthday, when my mother didn't know how to do Australian birthday party. She was the one that the consultant that my mother called on how to organise a 9-year-old birthday. She was also the first person to have a language exchange for my mum in terms of learning about Mandarin. We had yum cha dinners and really sort of embraced my mother into Australian or Western society. And she's passed away for about a month. Today our family made time to attend her funeral, and 90% of it was all about her travel and her moving overseas. She lived a very full life from the start of World War II and she grew up until 1945. So I think she was 7 or 8 when World War II ended, and she moved from England to Europe to Asia to the States and back to Australia, and lived through a lot of historical events. And when you die, all you have is your memories. And I remember sitting down with her 2 years ago. It was our parents' place, and I asked her one question. I said, "Mrs. Hudson, what was your most vivid memory in your life?" Because she had a stroke and we knew she was passing away. She told me about the time she went to Africa as a 26-year-old, and she was a single white woman moving through, I think, Namibia or Zambia or somewhere, and a lot of the African guys were wooing at her, and she took her to a really rocky track. But trying living in a shelter where there was no toilets or no modesty, in terms of when you consider that age, sort of 1950s, 60s British lady moving traveling through Africa. She was such a pioneer, and you can see that even though she had a stroke, when she told that story, her eyes lit up and talked about her experiences. And I believe that this is the reason why she was such a pioneer in reaching out to immigrants like my mother when she moved to Australia. And in the wedding, I found that it wasn't just with our community; it was a lot of groups. She was involved with the Swiss community, because she lived in Europe and got to meet Roger Federer. She spoke German, and she became a connector for a lot of communities. And 90% of the stories shared after the eulogy was all about travel. And my point is that when we die, the only thing we have is our memories in life. It's not about what we have or what we take, it's the memories, the people we meet, the experiences we learn, and being able to travel like we can now, and being able to see different people, understand different cultures, eat at the table, see the point of view, understand that everyone has a different way. It makes us all better as human beings. And don't hold back and experience new things until it's too late, because if not now, when?